Why did Nintendo take down an episode of Boundary Break? Some of you hardcore fans might remember that there was one episode of Boundary Break that Nintendo did go after. And then there was this whole video follow-up that I did where I talked in an open letter to Doug Bowser, trying to plead and try to help him understand where I come from with all this and what my intentions are with my show, Boundary Break. It's a separate channel. If somehow, some way, you're a subscriber that's never heard of it, that'd be really cool. Please let me know if you are one of those people. But there was one episode of Boundary Break that had ever been taken down, like I said, and it was by Nintendo themselves. And I got the video back, which is great. So I think that maybe that open letter video may have helped. We'll never know. Here's the thing, okay? Nintendo did release the claim, but they did it in a way where it's not like they're actually making a choice. They're making it confusing. It's easier to do something nice in a confusing way than it is to do something nice with a very intentional way and then allow the general public to be able to make opinions about the company and stuff like that, or set a precedent that they don't want to set, right? So let me tell the whole story in full from start to finish, and then give you my, again, it's a theory. I actually thought of this video because of the last video I just put out where I did share some theories about Charles Martinet. Here's one that's about Boundary Break now. So anyways, the story goes like this. I made a video on Animal Crossing New Horizons. It was actually the second video of the same game. The first one featured Vinny Vinesauce and everything. Very proud of that episode. Great friend of the channel. Love Vinny Vinesauce in a very platonic way. And so the follow-up video, I had more control of the camera, so there was more cool stuff shown. I was able to take the camera over behind trees, for example, and finally got to see what that looked like for the very first time. Got to break that to the public. It was really cool stuff. But there was one thing that I think actually got Nintendo riled up. Not just the fact that it was an all-new game. Yes, that could have been it. Although, again, I already had a Boundary Break episode prior to this that was of this same exact game, so it was when the game was even newer than it was when I put out that follow-up video. You know, so it's a bit strange. Why didn't they take down all the Nintendo videos? Why didn't they take down all the Animal Crossing videos? It was just this one. I think the reason actually lays with Kotaku. This is now just going into theory. I don't know anything for sure. No one ever explicitly told me anything. I'm just looking at things that were drastically different from this Boundary Break episode from all of the others. Kotaku writes an article about Boundary Break. Love Kotaku for this. Thank you so much for the folks at Kotaku who write those articles and helps expose the show and everything. Like, it means a ton. It keeps me relevant and it keeps the audience coming in. So to Kotaku, I'm not trying to shift blame to anyone over there. Appreciate you guys. If you want to continue to write articles, I'm more than happy to accept them. And you do you. You know, again, I'm not trying to tell you what you can and can't do or anything like that. But, you know, again, I want to basically say that I think what happened here was that Kotaku made an article that was very salacious. It was a picture of the character you just saw on the thumbnail, and the title of their article was Animal Crossing Villager is a Never Nude, which, wow, what a way to sell a YouTube video. Am I right? Why didn't I think of that? Well, I'm glad I didn't think of that, because I think Nintendo saw that. Nintendo people definitely keep track of all the articles that are written on Kotaku. That is something that we know for a fact that they do. Probably when they saw a article written about one of their most popular games of all time now, and it features their character stripped of their clothing, and then Never Nude is in the title of your family-friendly game, I think that must have rang some alarm bells over at Nintendo of America. And I do think that people had to sit there and deliberate what to do about this, and I think they basically thought to themselves, let's cut the head of the snake and just get rid of the video entirely. And so my video may have been taken down because the Animal Crossing Villager is a Never Nude. Now, in the context of the video, I don't go as far as to say that the character is a Never Nude. I instead actually find it really, really fascinating that the developers had a fail-safe. Although you can never ever take off the tank top and shorts of the Animal Crossing Villager, the character still has a black bar across the chest and a black set of basically underwear just in case, which is really cool. So again, Me personally, I look at this more like this is a really fascinating thing from a developer standpoint. You believe that you will never be able to see this pattern on the character's skin, but they still didn't want to take a chance with their family friendly game. They still wanted to make, with beyond a shadow of a doubt, that if you were to somehow remove all the clothing from the Animal Crossing villager, that there would be still something covering it up at the end of the day, which I think is really, really cool. Really, really fascinating. It's like perfect for Boundary Break. We broke the boundaries of the villager from Animal Crossing, and as a result, we got to see a failsafe from the developers. You couldn't ask for anything better than that. And again, I kudos to the developers for thinking to do that. Now, on Nintendo's side of thing, though, it's very salacious. It's probably very, very different attention than what they're desiring out of the Animal Crossing franchise. So it's, again, my theory that this was the reason why they took the video down. And then after that, like I said, I made an open letter basically just trying to explain to Nintendo that I don't tutorialize how to do anything that I do in my videos. I also try to run my show with a sense of reverence for the people that make the video games, and that I really, really appreciate what they're doing, and I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. I'm not trying to do anything that would hurt game sales, and I'm not trying to do anything that could cause a giant influx of people pirating their games or modifying their games. That's not the goal of the show. The goal of the show is to entertain people and inform people, and that's all I really ever did in that video and all the others. But again, I can't blame Nintendo if that was the reason why that they wanted to take this video down. But at the same time too, it's like I'm over here doing my due diligence. If people want to recontextualize, reinterpret the content that I'm putting out, like in the case of what Kotaku did, it's a little unfair to kind of react in that way. And I think, whatever I said in that video got through to Nintendo, because although they have the power to take down a takedown notice at any time, so they basically put it in a request to take down the video. YouTube immediately complies. My video is taken down, and then you have a chance to repeal to Nintendo themselves. And at any time that you make that repeal, they can always just reactivate the video at their own discretion. Now, they didn't do that, but what they did do was they chose not to dispute the repeal. And if you wait 30 days after sending in the repeal, YouTube will bring back the video themselves. And so because of Nintendo's negligence, we got the video back, and you're able to watch it to this day. I can leave a link to it in the video description. You can go watch it. But it's just funny that Nintendo chose to do that, because they have a whole department that's dedicated to upholding things. And in most cases, for example, one of the earliest people to actually support Boundary Break the show was Aurum Dude. He used to do glitches, and he used to love doing Nintendo glitches. And all of his videos got stricken by Nintendo without any sort of exposure. I think the one thing that really kind of worked against Aurum was that he was actually starting to go on trending. I believe it was in general trending on YouTube, which that's way too much exposure for his video. We all as YouTubers would love to see our videos get exposed for things. That's kind of the idea at the end of the day, is that the more people that are watching, the better for everybody involved that made the video. But sadly, due to the nature of the content, I think that's what got on Nintendo's radar, and Nintendo themselves thought, nah, we want to take down all of this stuff. So they basically did a harassment campaign on Aurum. And I mention all this because that thought has always loomed on my mind. When is it going to be my day? When is Nintendo going to come after me and my livelihood? And the weird thing is that Nintendo never did. And it was always an anomaly amongst me and the other groups of people that do YouTube videos. We're all aware of these situations that happen with Aurum and other YouTubers. So whenever we'd meet up at conventions, we're all kind of yeah, how have you managed to not get any of your videos taken down up to this point, she says. And I'm over here kind of maybe I have fans of Boundary Break over at Nintendo. That's possible. Kit and Krista knew who I was. I once went onto one of their live streams and they immediately knew who I was. So that was kind of interesting. So you know, maybe there are fans of Boundary Break over at Nintendo. That could have been the reason why I was safe for so many years. But how can you ignore a highly publicized website that deals with game news talking about your video game and saying, hey, this character is a never nude, you know, to your very innocent character? At that point, you can't ignore it. It's something that, like, there's a quote. I'm going to have Bloops put it on the screen because Bloops is an amazing editor. Nintendo's previous lawyer has once stated, the one thing you want to avoid is getting too popular with your fan games or your mods or whatever, because at that point, Nintendo can't ignore you anymore. It's something to that effect. I probably ad-libbed a little bit there. We're going to see the quote on the screen, of course. But that is so true. Like I said, what was Orum's folly? If he was getting on the trending page of YouTube. What was my folly? I got my episode featured on Kotaku, and things took a really bizarre turn on the article title and picture. So there you go. There's my little story for you. The one time a Boundary Break episode got taken down, and I got to share a little bit of boundary breaking here on this channel too. We got to kind of break down what I thought about it, put it into more words, and have a story behind it. That's why I felt like it would be a good fit for this channel. If you want to see me talk about some really interesting boundary break type stuff, like just a singular subject piece, not a whole video game like I do on my other channel, and talk about it sometimes, I'd love to do that here. So just let me know in the comments if you're interested in that. If you're new here, please subscribe. It would be amazing if you did. We only have about 5,000 subscribers right now, so every one of you guys subbing counts immensely. Thank you so much for watching, and take care.